Okay, we're rolling. Great intro. Everybody, welcome to the I Know Nothing podcast, where you will learn nothing. Today we have on Sofia Sanzo. She's going to give her elevator pitch in 2 seconds. I'm going to explain to you guys our relationship real quick. We started training together 2 years ago-ish?
Yeah, I think it was the summer before my junior year.
Okay. So whatever that was, that 3 years.
Yeah.
Sofia has become the OG for me in this area. I started working at Colony High School, and she's been my most consistent and one of my favorite athletes of all time that I've got to train for the last couple of years. So super pumped to work with her still to this day. And she was supposed to be the last person on our podcast, but I'll explain why she's on right now because she called me out on something. But before we go any further, Sofia, I know who you are. Give everybody the elevator pitch of who you are, where you came from.
All right. My name is Sofia Sanzo. I'm going to be a sophomore in college. I'm a soccer player. I'm from Colony. I went to Colony High School. Go Raiders.
They're the Wolfpack now.
But
we both left as Raiders.
Yeah, I went to Lemoyne my freshman year of college. I'm transferring to Russell Sage this upcoming season, so I'm excited for it. Should be good.
So, like I said, Sofia's been one of the most consistent athletes that I've got to deal with in my entire career. But since I've moved home, which was 4 years ago, she's been kind of like a staple for me, and like maybe vice versa as a coach to her, where we've done a lot of things together. We've had a lot of conversations together. We've been in different weight rooms together. So we've grown to be able to have honest conversations. And the reason she's on right now is because the first podcast I did with an athlete, Abby, I apologize. You are not the fastest person in-house here. So Sofia texted me. She's like, great podcast, but I believe I'm the fastest. So let's clear it up right now. Sofia currently is tied at a 1:65 as the fastest female athlete in a 10-yard sprint in this facility at Suarez. So we'll clear that up right there.
After my first spin class.
True. After her first spin class. So maybe we need to do more spinning before sprinting.
Every Thursday.
I want to get into your youth because I actually don't know that much about what you did as an athlete and what you did as a kid. So can you kind of just briefly give us the story of when you started playing sports and when you started like getting serious about soccer, but also did you play other sports?
You're gonna like this one.
Okay.
So I would not have played sports unless it was for my best friend from high school.
Okay.
So her parents basically just were like, you gotta sign her up for soccer. So we started rec soccer at Colony together when we were 5 years old.
Oh wow.
All the way up. So
wait, who is this?
Kate.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we started soccer together. I really never I played different sports. I tried rec basketball. I tried lacrosse for a year. I also did dance and gymnastics because my cousin was really into that stuff. And I got kicked out of dance class for running in circles. I remember it so vividly too. My grandpa was there with me and he had to take me home because I got kicked out.
You're not allowed back?
No.
Wow. Okay. Well, typically when someone does dance or gymnastics, they're a really good mover later on in life. So yeah, there you go.
I guess.
So you've been playing soccer since you were 5 years old?
Yeah.
You played Colony Youth?
Yep.
When did you stop playing for Colony teams?
So I played for Colony Rec up until you can. And then I played for Colony Travel. And then at that point, all my friends had started moving to travel teams and club teams that were more serious. So I was the last one to leave Colony Travel. I was playing U12 and I was maybe 9. So, which is weird because then when I got to varsity, when I played in 8th grade, the girls that were seniors were the girls that I played with on U12. So it was just weird like that, how it worked out. But so then I moved to Capital United and I played there for my whole life up till my senior year. And then I played for Rushmont last year.
Cool. When did you start playing varsity soccer?
8th grade?
Okay, so you played varsity soccer for 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. That should tell you how good of an athlete she actually is because at least Colony girls soccer has been pretty competitive over the course of time, right?
Yeah, we built a pretty strong program over there. Proud of it.
Something that happened in the last podcast with Dylan was he was talking about his friendships with the teams that he was on, and you just kind of mentioned it. Do you have friends still from all the teams that you were on?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is that a big part of what sports should be at the youth level.
Yeah, definitely. That like so I wouldn't have the memories I have if it weren't for the people that I was
Right.
playing with. Especially when it got to like my senior year of high school, like all of our group, the group that graduated, we had literally played together since we were 5. So it just like you
Wow.
had that special bond, like, and
And a
I'm
lot of you
still
guys are still
so
friends
yeah, I'm
today.
still so close with them. It's just something like playing on a field with your best friends like is something that nothing
Yeah.
else compares to.
And I think, honestly, talking to Dylan yesterday, talking to you now, I think that is something that's changing in the course
Yeah,
of time,
for
where
sure.
you have colleges obviously changing, which we'll talk about in a second, but people aren't growing up playing together. And then they are on showcase teams or travel teams and
Yeah.
they bounce around and they're missing out on one of the key aspects of youth sports. So
Yeah.
I'm just happy that you had that experience too, because it helps my cause here.
Yeah.
When did you have your injury?
I tore my ACL in, I think it was 2018, 2019. I think it was 2019. So I was in 8th grade. It
Oh,
was
this was when you were in
in,
8th grade?
in
Okay.
April of my 8th grade year, right after my varsity year ended.
Okay.
So
And can you just take us through like the rehab process, how you got back, and then like the course of time after that?
that was like one of the hardest things I've ever gone through, honestly, especially at such a young age.
Yeah,
Too.
of
I didn't know
course.
how to process it. There were like points where I was like, I'm not going to play anymore because it just was so like mentally taxing. So luckily my dad is a physical therapist assistant, so
Nice.
he pulled some strings,
Yeah.
and he was also in the military with a guy over at Ortho New York, so they got me in right away.
Okay.
I got my surgery. I tore my ACL and both my meniscus, so they had a lot to fix.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I mean, I remember like going home and like the day after my surgery, my dad's got me in like the electric recliner. He put my leg out straight and is just slowly bending it with the button. So
That's hilarious.
it's like from day 2 post op, like I was always in the gym. Like I remember too, like we would go to vent and he would have me go in with my whole crutches, my whole leg brace, and just do anything else I could. Like I did the arm thing. What's that called?
The arm bike?
Yeah, the arm bike.
Yeah.
I did that. I did like my other leg. Like I did other things. Like I just really focused on like what I could do rather than what I couldn't do.
I actually didn't know a lot of that information, but so you got right into the gym immediately. Now it helps that your dad is a PT. Yes, of course, but injury is part of sports, and you have come back stronger because of it. And I think a lot of times people get hurt and they do go down that path, but they think, oh, I'm hurt. My knee is hurt. I can't do anything else.
Right.
You're talking about how you can do all of these things, plus the other leg that is very operational.
Yeah.
Have you had any issues after that?
No, because I remember like the first time we met, I was like, I never want this to happen ever again.
Yeah.
And like I think a lot of what we focus on is like injury prevention, especially in my knees. Yeah. So ever since then, I guess it's been a big focus. Like I never want to do that ever again.
Of course. And you're strong enough. You've built this, but I mean, it's awesome. It's not awesome that you had the injury, but it is awesome that you went through it and got back stronger, and you now have a different mentality when it comes to training. Like you don't want that thing to happen ever again.
And it's just like a little piece of the story that sculpts me as like an athlete and the way I see the game. So
of course. What position do you play in soccer? Because you were explaining this to me. What position do you play right now? And
outside mid.
So we had a conversation the other day, I think it was this week, where Soph came in and she was just like, I just don't, like, I feel tired all the time. Like, why? She currently is training with me 4 times a week.
Yes.
She does spin multiple times a week.
Only Thursday mornings.
1 time a week. Soccer practice 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Works how many times a week?
3.
3 days a week. Has games on the weekend, and also has to be a college kid and have a social life. So it's maybe it happened because you had to mature at a young age. You played varsity sports. You come from a great family. You had an injury, but this is what it takes to be the caliber of athlete and person you are. Is like you're doing all of these things and just grinding through it and keep showing up. And like you said just about the injury, it's like you can always find something to do.
Right.
One of the points I made is that we have a good relationship where Soph will walk in and she's like, I'm not doing this today. I'm like, okay, don't yell at me. But it's good because she's starting to understand like her body. She understands where she's at and what she needs for the day. And I think maybe you can kind of talk about the training that you've done in the past, and then we can get to like the training that we've done together, but not specific to your rehab. What training did you do throughout high school, like before I met you?
I mean, it was mostly like bodybuilding stuff because my
Okay.
dad was a bodybuilder, so I was.
PT and bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. So he had me in the gym like probably like fifth grade.
That's
And
awesome.
I have picture. I just told you the other day. My mom just put a picture on the fridge of me in our basement doing like flies.
Love it. Love
So
it.
it's like from when I was little, it's just something that's always been in my life. I
Gotcha.
just never really got serious about it till probably after my injury, really.
Okay. Because when I had met you, we just like, you were the first person that showed up in the colony weight room. All these kids were doing whatever. She came down. She's like, "Yeah, let's start working out." And right like that, we just started getting into a program that has been about 2.5 years now
Yeah.
of training. I think let's talk about maybe last year's online program, or I guess it was partly this year.
Yeah.
So once you decided that you were going to transfer, she wanted to have a structured plan, and I think there's a lot of funny things about it, but also all of the things we had done together. You basically built your own program, and I was
Yeah.
just guiding it. Can you talk about your experience of like what you did, your training, doing it on your own, going to a gym where no one knew what you were doing, pushing sleds all over the place?
Yeah. So I mean, I think I wanted to have a structured schedule just because like that's just the way my brain works. Like,
Yeah,
go to the gym, go to class, go do this, go do my homework. You know what I mean? So it just like, especially because I knew I didn't want to be there, it just made it so much easier to get through it and like I know what to look forward to every day. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So and also like a lot of it is just like coming from like self discipline. Like there were so many times where like I could have like gone and done something else so that I wouldn't have been able to go to the gym the next morning or whatever. But
right.
like every day I just like prioritize that as like that's what I want to get done. And I mean a lot of stuff on there like I'd done with you before, so it wasn't like it was brand new stuff. It was just putting it all in one thing and
Yeah,
getting it done. And I mean, yeah, doing a program in a public gym is not ideal. There
yes.
were so many days I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel like an idiot, like doing inchworms across the turf in the gym. I was like, this just is so weird. Or like doing the lying to
Oh
stand
yes,
too. So it's but at some I'm also not someone who gets embarrassed. Like
that's good
so
because
like
some of that can be embarrassing.
that's just like my personality. Like I just do what I do. I don't care. And so I think that was a big part of it too. Like you just have to get over it. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I have big goals. Like I had a bigger goal in mind at that point. So
yeah,
that's definitely what drove me to.
for sure. From my story, I love programming for her because she just crushes everything I give her. But we shared a Google Sheet file together,
Yeah.
and I couldn't wait to read her notes from the day because it was absolutely hilarious. I don't have it pulled up.
I know. I was just gonna
I wish
say.
I could pull it up right now. Maybe we'll put it in the comments. But there's certain days where I was literally laughing out loud based off her comments. So it was fun that her and I were able to keep in touch. She was able to still do all the things she needed to do, and
Yeah.
it was a small piece of you finally making the decision to come back to Sage and get playing soccer here.
Yeah.
Okay, the whole transfer thing, I'm only bringing it up because you just went through it, but I'm bringing it up with everybody because it's the way of the world right now. Can you just tell us the story of your whole transfer thing, of why you wanted to transferring to the school,
Yeah.
and the process that you went through?
So Lemoyne after playing the season just wasn't the right fit.
Okay.
I didn't agree with a lot of the ways they did things, and that's fine. Like we just didn't have the same like ideals, and
Yeah.
sometimes that happens. You just never know. So after the season, I was like, I really was like, I hate soccer, and I don't ever want to feel like that. Like the reason I play is because I love the sport.
Right.
So I decided like nothing's worth losing my passion for soccer, even if it's just for a title or something like that. You know what I mean? So I signed into a transfer portal, put my name in there, and I thought it was gonna be like the portal, like some like
portal,
like some crazy bubble that opens up and I just step through. But no, it's literally like you just put your name in there and there you are, and people just start reaching out. And so, but a lot of it, I thought people were gonna reach out to me so much, and they did. But you have to do a lot of the work. Like I was in the library some nights till like 1 a.m, working on film, watching games, like to send it to coaches, sending emails. Like it's like the recruiting process all over again. But honestly, I think it might be a little harder.
You have to advocate for yourself.
You really do.
A lot. Yeah. Okay.
And it's such a learning process too. Like I learned so much more about it than I thought I knew in the first place. So
yeah, for sure.
It was good.
It people will probably reach out to you and want help because it is difficult. And if you haven't gone through a true recruiting process like you did, you might even be behind the curve. The fact that you had the mature thought of like, hey, it's time for me to leave now as a freshman. Like I told you, I thought it was the right decision for you. You know, you seem like you're happier now, but the transfer portal's real. Yeah. And it's not this illusion. It's not this real portal that you just walked through.
And also, like, if you are thinking about transferring, it's like when you know. Like, when I got back to school and we had a team meeting and I was just like, I don't want to be here. Like, this is not where I fit in. Yeah. And, you know, luckily I found a spot where I feel like I can go be myself and, like, better myself as a player and do some great things. So I'm excited for it. I'm really looking forward to it.
For sure. The point is, athletes and parents, go learn about the transfer portal. Yes. Talk to athletes who have gone through it because it's the real deal and it's part of college sports right now. Yeah. I want to get right into a different topic about lunges because you were the first experiment. So anybody who's on this podcast probably knows me and knows how much I love walking lunges. And Sofia was my first attempt at progressing somebody to a 10-minute lunge. Talk about your lunge experience.
Well, what did we start at?
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
5 minutes is not bad because it's like if you pick one long song,
that's it.
That's it. Like an Eminem song, they're like 5 minutes. Right. You know what I mean?
That's perfect.
So, and that'll really get you through walking lunges. And then we also talked about like thinking about my goals while I do walking lunges. That definitely helped too.
For sure. We start the protocol was an experiment, and we started at 5 minutes, and every week Soph added 30 seconds until we got to 10 minutes. I told her when she got to 10 minutes, we would take time off. But today I had to give walking lunges because we were doing the podcast, just because. But the whole point of the walking lunges was, one, on her goals, she wanted to be Quadzilla.
Yes.
So we were attacking quads, we were attacking legs. But the other piece of it was, this was a time for her to do some thinking where, you know, like she said, she started playing varsity sports in 8th grade. You were a high-level athlete, and it goes like this. Yeah. For the first time in maybe your life, you had time to think about things, and sometimes that can be negative or positive. So we tried to use the walking lunge as a physical thing, but also as a mental thing. So and she would give feedback on, like, hey, thought about this today. So it worked out well, but just for everybody out there who I've given walking lunges to, there's a purpose to it.
Yes.
So the one thing I wanted to talk about, and I put it on here, was that we both wear number 4.
Oh, before? And we did the 400 meters walking lunges, too.
True. You were the first to ever complete it with me when I moved back home, to complete a full 400-meter walking lunge. Knee touches the ground, no steps in between. That's right. You did complete it with me.
All right, now number 4.
So number 4. I wore number 4 my whole life. Every time I meet a number 4, they become my favorite person. And they have to basically show me that they're not that person. She was my first number 4 at Colony, and she kind of exemplifies what I believe a number 4 should be. So we always joke that she wears number 4, I wear number 4. But why'd you pick number 4?
I actually didn't pick it.
Oh.
So Coach Edson, I didn't play varsity.
Shout out Coach Edson.
Yes. I didn't play varsity for my full 8th grade year. I played half JV, half varsity.
Gotcha.
So it was like, I remember it so good. Like, I was at middle school lunch in 8th grade. My mom called me and was like, hey, like, they want you to play varsity today against Shaker. And I'm like, cool, all right. So I get over to the high school. Like, I take the bus from the middle school to the high school. I meet Coach Edson for, like, the first time ever. And you know how he is. He's so outgoing and whatever. And so he has this big bucket of jerseys. And it's, like, he was like, this is the first one I pulled out for you.
Wow.
And he also said, like, number 4, he played with a guy in I think it's high school or college, who was like one of the best players and people he's ever met. So I was like, that's it. I'm number 4.
Shout out to all the number 4s out there.
I was like, that's it. I'm number 4 for the rest of my life.
That's awesome. Okay, I didn't know that story at all.
And that's another reason why I kept it, because I was like, this actually has some meaning. Like,
for sure.
He gave it meaning to me.
Absolutely.
He gave the meaning to me.
Absolutely.
When he gave me the jersey.
Absolutely.
So.
No, I love it. It's just another thing that kind of brought us together early on, working together, was the number 4. But that's really cool, that story that he pulled it out and just happened to be the 4. Cool. All right. I want to get to a rant. Soph rants to me every day. And of course today, she's like, I don't know what I want to rant about. So I said, hold off. I'm going to ask you to rant on something. It can be anything about sports, about life, about anything. What rant are you on today?
My neighbor.
Oh, here we go. What do we got?
So, for those of you who don't know, I mow my lawn and I'm very proud of my lawn.
Yes.
And this man wakes up at like 7 o'clock, and he just built this really big shed, and it's like an eyesore. He definitely does not have a permit for it, and uh, so he's out there like banging and drilling and like just doing loud things. So I get out there like as early as possible too, to like compete with him at like 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning, and I'm like singing loud and mowing, like I'm just doing things as loud as I could. So that's really my
Sophia is
rant.
currently competing with
Yeah.
everybody, including her neighbor, who can
Yes.
start making noise louder in the morning.
Yep.
Okay, how about a rave? Is there anything that you're raving about? Sports, life, anything?
I recently, like the last couple weeks, you know how like you in sports, like when you're going up to your season, like you have to have like a peak time.
Yeah.
I think like I'm like so I just love to run. Like I like the spin class too. Like
Said
I just
nobody
love
ever.
it. Like I just love it's just like a release for me. Like I just go do it and get it done, and so that's what I'm loving right now.
That's awesome.
I just love the grind.
I thought you were gonna say the spin class, but
No, I do really love that too. Me and the old ladies. We get it done on Thursday mornings at 8:30.
there you go. Join the class.
Yes.
All right. I've been asking everybody this. You have to talk to the future soccer girls of the next generation. It doesn't have to be 3, it could be anything, but what piece of advice do you have specifically for the athletes?
I would say, especially after my experience this year, like do it because you love it. Like there's a difference between like stepping on the field just because you have to and your parents make you, and like stepping on the field because you really want to be there and you just like love what you're doing. It's like that flow state when you get there.
Yeah.
That's when you're gonna be the best you can be. So have fun with it. Don't lose that side of it. Because that's why you do it.
I love that. Now, to the parents of the athletes, be nice, Soph. Be nice.
I thought I've been pretty good this
You
whole
have.
time.
You've been doing great.
I would say the same thing. I have parents that were hard on me my whole life, and that also comes from like being from a military family. Like you know how it is.
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't trade it any other way. Like thank God they raised me the way they did, because without them I wouldn't have like my determination and my drive. But it's like make sure you don't push them so hard that they don't want to play anymore, because it's not fun for you and it's not fun for them. So
yeah,
I think that would be it.
No, it's
not that my parents ever did that, but
no, but it's good because you went through it. You obviously ended up as a great human being. You are where you are because of all of these factors, but your parents being one of them. So it's great, and it's important for people to hear it, because I think we're living in the time now where parents always are doing the best that they can do for their kids, always. But you just went through you went through recruiting, you went through youth sports, you went through how recruiting is changing, and parents sometimes just don't know what's going on. So it's always great to hear from a college athlete who's done it, who's doing it, rather than it just coming out of my mouth all the time.
And when I just transferred to, my parents were so supportive. Like that's in that time, like that's really all I needed. Like they knew what they don't really, they don't get how it works. Like
of
they
course.
don't get the transfer. It's not their fault. That's just how it is today.
It's the main message I'm trying to make about the whole thing. Is like athletes and parents, you need to be even more, like you said, like you have to advocate for yourself more than ever really now. And that will help you get to the level you need to get to. But I love what you said.
And as you know, I have no issue advocating for myself.
Yes, I love it. Back to you to finish this thing up. We're actually doing great on time. I thought for sure we were going to rant for a long time, but part 2 might be coming soon.
Stay tuned.
What do you think is some things that have made you successful to get to this point, but like you've been successful your whole career? What are some things that led to that? Is there stories? Is there specific examples? Or is there, just one uniform thing that's been happening your whole career?
I think there's like ups and downs, like the road.
Yeah.
There's always ups and downs throughout your life. Like I definitely had some points where like I needed someone to grab me in the face and be like, what are you doing right now? Like, get back on track. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I think it's the way like that you handle the lows. That's how like your highs come.
Yeah. I think, knowing you for a long enough time, it's kind of the answer I was looking for. Is you've gone through a lot of different adversity.
Yeah.
Injury, transferring, a lot of things. And right now people are not used to going through adversity.
Yeah.
And my message to everybody to kind of wrap things up is like just knowing you and watching how you've been consistent since the day I've met you, right? We always joke about it. She was the only one who kept showing up in the very beginning, and
Yeah.
still to this day, we've trained at all different spots
I
now, but
know.
she keeps showing up. Even on her bad days, she figures out a way to get it done, and she's been doing this on her own. Like, she's been doing this on her own. So, like you're saying, like, yeah, you have to go through ups and downs to get to this point.
Yeah.
That's what life is all about.
And I agree about the like adversity thing. Like, yeah, I've gone through adversity, but I don't talk about it. You know,
Yeah.
I just deal with it and I keep going. Like, and I think that's like what makes me who I am. Like,
For sure.
I don't dwell on it ever.
It helps you in life, but it also helps you on the field, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We're seeing it. You go to a high school game now, and you just watch a little bit of adversity, and you watch people crumble. That doesn't happen at the college level. It can't happen, and
Yeah.
more and more than ever, I think we need to use adversity as a good thing and learning how to deal with it.
For sure. It's something that I've really learned to embrace this past year too. Like,
yeah, I love that.
Sure, things happen, but it's just life.
Love it. We're going to call it there for today. This is the I Know Nothing podcast. Sophia is playing in the Capital District. We're playing at Sage this year, so go check her out. You play at what, Union sometimes over the summer?
Yeah, we're almost done though, so.
Check her out. Wish the best of luck to you. Thanks for coming on. Handshake. Hopefully you learned nothing this podcast.
Yes. Fantastic.
That might have been 30 minutes on the button.